Hi, my name is Leslie Clarke, Program Director for BC Alpine Ski Association. The video that you're about to watch is entry-level academy that I've been introducing around the province for the last several years. It's geared towards the entry-level racer, the E2, E1, as well as K1 racers in the ski clubs. As a province, we're focusing in on slalom skills for the E1, E2, and K1 racers. This environment that is set has 3 different kinds of modalities or gates: brushes, stubbies, and full gates. So what you're seeing here is a really basic warm-up pre-ski exercise where the skiers were only asked to make as small a turn as they could, and I identified the start and the finish, and they had to count along the way. So here's a great introduction to get the skiers into the short turns. First course that we set are brushes, so they're less intimidating. The premise here is to build rhythm with some adaptation principles. So each section is about 5 turns so the racers can feel the rhythm of the turn, and then having to adapt for side hill, for example, as you see them coming across the hill and then back into the fall line. And in the fall line, they're just straight. They're set in a row, so the racer has to adapt to what size turn is appropriate in order to make the next set of gates. So the first brush course is set with the idea that this is difficult first, with very little direction from the coach. So the coach is actually the environment here. So first thing in the morning, if you can go with the premise that it's going to be more difficult to try and figure it out with the racer, then they are alert, they're engaged, and they have to try and make their way down as best they can. In the second course, a little more traditional, but again, using more side hill instead of always setting in the fall line. The first 4 gates are set so that the racer can get the rhythm of the turn, and then the sideways once they're balanced on their feet. Decision making comes into play when they have to negotiate a flush type drill in the fall line, but then the out gate is going to be fairly offset. The last course might be something that they've never seen before. It is an excellent tool to force them into working their feet, but also creating some stability in their upper body because they have to negotiate around the panels. We have been climbing up the hill on each run a little bit higher so that they can attain some speed into the turn and start to link the turns together. In slalom with the younger skiers, it's important that we don't put a capacity on what the skill levels are. The coach is the environment for the day. The more difficult you set, the better. As the day progresses, start to make the courses a little bit easier, pull them in so that they are starting to link the turns. So that in the morning they're going to feel the difficulty of turn by turn, progressing to the afternoon where they are linking turns because now they're used to the size. In slalom for E2 and E1 racers, we want to work with anywhere from a 5 to a 9.5 meter turn. We want to try and increase the athletic abilities, use what they have, increase the athletic abilities on skis by setting as difficult courses as we can, and then easing them into flowing the courses by pulling the gates in out of the fall line as the day progresses. For our entry-level racers, the province is focusing in on promoting more slalom turns over GS turns. GS brings in some strength issues, but if they have a solid foundation with slalom skills in different environments, free-skiing especially, then we're actually building the skills and the capacity of the racers in which when they get stronger, then they can grow into being successful in larger, faster turns.